What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another video. This is your pregame prediction video for the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Chicago Bears coming here on Week 8 in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys are 5-2 and the Chicago Bears are 3-4. Is this a trap game? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Down the field, Lamb, 10-5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.
Be sure to like and subscribe, and I want to thank you for everyone who has liked and subscribed and everyone that's following me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. It means a lot. But let's go ahead and jump into this game right here and talk about this really interesting matchup, in my opinion. I really think it's an interesting matchup, and I feel like if there was a kryptonite out there for the Dallas Cowboys, the Chicago Bears just might be it, believe it or not. And look, I'm your unbiased, realistic Cowboys fan, so I got to tell you how it is. The Chicago Bears should not be underestimated. And I really feel like this is more of a trap game than it was the last week against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are a bad football team. And regardless, I knew the Cowboys were going to win that game regardless. They were just going to win it. They were the better team. Even though that first half was rough, slow, whatever it may be, the Cowboys were going to find a way to win. The Chicago Bears, however, they're interesting. They're inconsistent. And, you know, in the great words of Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. But that's not to say that the Chicago Bears haven't been a few opportunities away from taking advantage of some games and winning. But, you know, 3-4, just because they're under 500, they should not be underestimated. And this is a game the Cowboys cannot overlook. This is a game that we have to be focused in on. The players have to be geared towards. This is a game that we have to go out and win. And when I was thinking about this game too, the Cowboys have been advantageous in the sense that they've played opponents that are less talented than them. And so with that being said, the Cowboys can almost depend on those teams losing the game, more or less winning the game. The Chicago Bears are a different story. The Chicago Bears can go out there and win this game. And if they're able to establish their kind of football, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for the Cowboys. And so the Cowboys, and this is what separates good and great and elite, the Cowboys have to go out here and win this game. They cannot depend on the Bears losing this game or, just making miscues and mistakes. The Cowboys got to go out and grab this game, not only because they're the better team, but this is the last game before the bye week. So if the Cowboys lose this game, it's going to be a long 2 weeks before we see the Cowboys, because we take on the Packers after the bye week. And so that's all I got to say there. And the big thing here is the coach of the Chicago Bears. Coach Eberflus was the Colts defensive coordinator. Why is that important, and why am I bringing that up? Because the Cowboys actually had a matchup back in 2019 against the Colts, and their defensive coordinator was the coach for the Chicago Bears right now, Coach Eberflus. And that is so important because Matt Eberflus had a really terrific game plan that not only beat the Cowboys that season, but it shut out the Cowboys, and it was a shutout for the first time in like 15 years. The Cowboys lost that game 23-0. Dak Prescott threw 24 for 39, 208 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. If I remember correctly, Ezekiel Elliott didn't get to 100 yards. He got around to 87 yards, I believe. So this guy knows Dak Prescott in this offense because he was also part of the Cowboys organization, believe it or not. He was part of the coaching staff. But that was a Jason Garrett offense. And you guys have heard me talk about Kellen Moore. But throw in that, but also the fact that this offense is going to look a lot like what he's already seen already. And I'm talking about Eberflus. I'm talking about the head coach for the Chicago Bears. So not only do we have to bring our best football, Kellen Moore has to bring his best play calling. This is a game that's not going to be given to us. We know that. It's the NFL. But the Cowboys have to go out and win this game. First thing we want to focus up on is we have to stop the run. This is the biggest matchup that you're going to see right here. Because right now, the Bears are number 1 in the NFL when it comes to rushing offense. And the Bears have rushed for 200 plus yards 3 times this season, ties for first in the NFL. And when they do that, And when they're able to establish their kind of running, the Chicago Bears win these games. And it just falls like dominoes, right? If you're able to run the ball, you're able to run play action. And when you have a quarterback like Justin Fields who's so dynamic and elusive, well, after play action, you can run pass options, RPOs. You can really get creative. And Justin Fields he can run the ball, guys. He can run the ball. Right now, he's struggling a little bit passing the ball. 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But he has 68 attempts for 364 yards with 2 touchdowns. Him running the ball is a big part of this offense. Kind of just a comparison, the running back, Herbert, has 75 attempts on the year. Justin Fields is 7 attempts behind him with 68. I do like the Cowboys' defense against that kind of offense where they have the quarterback running. We saw it a little bit with Daniel Jones against the New York Giants, and the Cowboys were able to shut that down and obviously win that game. But this game's really going to come down to quarterbacks, and I'm going to come back to this here a little bit when I'm talking about Dak Prescott and the offense. But this is really going to come down to Justin Fields, and more than just handing off the ball, more than just running it himself. They have a really good opportunity to beat the Dallas Cowboys if Justin Fields can elevate his game. He's struggling this year, like I said, but if he can make the passes against a really good defense, against a good secondary that the Dallas Cowboys have, then they can definitely take control of the game and win it at all costs. The Cowboys, on the other hand, their rushing defense, as we all know, we don't even have to look at statistics. Us fans, the people who watch the game, we know it's probably one of the biggest weaknesses that this defense has is the rushing defense. Now, it hasn't really bit us. It really hasn't. Teams have often switched over to passing the ball when they've had so much success running the ball, and that's just due to the way the flow of the game happened. But the Cowboys, 2 losses already, 5 wins. They've been able to take advantage of those opportunities. But rushing defense is definitely one of those glaring weaknesses of this defense. And it was somewhat addressed this past week because the Cowboys traded for Jonathan Hankins from the Las Vegas Raiders. So, hopefully that addresses the issue. Obviously, they know it's an issue. That's why they went out and got that guy. He's probably going to play a few reps. He's not going to start or anything like that, but they're obviously going to get him up to speed with the defensive line and the defense. But this rushing defense, something has to improve on Sunday. And they're a really great defense. We love our defense. I don't want to criticize the defense too much because the defense is the reason why we're 5-2. If we're being honest, if we're being frank, if we're being unbiased and realistic, we have a whole lot to give back to this defense for winning us the games that we've been in. But they got to go out here and be dominant, improve on what they've already done, and key in on one of their biggest weaknesses that they've had all season long. And so, like I said, Chicago's going to want to run it. They're going to want to run it first. And if they're able to establish it in the first half, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a very, very long game. And I bet you they're probably going to try to replicate the Philadelphia Eagles game plan that they had against us a few weeks ago. And I'm talking about not just running, but they're probably, I bet they're probably going to run that same play on Micah Parsons. Where they did the play action, Jalen Hurts did the play action, and they keyed on Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons had to decide between Jalen Hurts or the wide receiver running behind him, and they ran that play a couple of times. They ran that play a couple of times, and A.J. Brown was wide open. I would not be surprised if we saw something like that on Sunday. And so this is a really good opportunity to evaluate this defense. Are we learning from our mistakes? And most importantly, can we improve on weaknesses that we know have been for the past 7 weeks in the NFL season? Regardless, my prediction for this defense is I think the Bears get off to a hot start. I would not be surprised if they came out here and scored, and you may see something like 10-0. I really wouldn't. The Bears might just come off just like that. But, however, I think the Cowboys obviously have the better defense. And when you look at it, this game is a game in the trenches, and I think the Cowboys control that overall. And I think they're going to get 2 sacks on Justin Fields. I don't think they're going to get any interceptions, believe it or not. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not feeling that. But I do feel like this defense is going to score. I think it's going to be a forced fumble of some kind, strip sack maybe. But I feel like this defense gets in on the fun on Sunday, and they score, kind of like similar to what they did against the Los Angeles Rams. But I that's what you can expect from this defense. They're going to have a tough game, and it's going to be a lot of adjustments, but I think this defense is going to hold up against the Chicago Bears. On the other side of that, we got to talk about this offense. This offense, the Dallas Cowboys offense, has to play better. They just have to. They are 26th in the NFL in total yards as an offense. This is not what we have expected or come to expect from this offense, especially being the number one offense last year. And yeah, I know we had weapons. I know we had Amari Cooper. But come on, we got Dak Prescott back. And he played a beautiful game last week. I predicted the kind of game that he would play was, just being what he always been as a game manager and not turning the ball over and making big passes when he needed to. That's what he did last week against the Lions. I'm looking for a little bit more this coming week. And I'll tell you why. Because a big part of it is going to be Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. As I'm making this video, I don't know the official injury report, but I do know this. I don't know if Zeke's going to play or not. And I don't know if Tony Pollard's going to start or not. But I do know this, that we're probably not going to have Zeke at 100%. And statistic and history has told us that, a not as healthy Ezekiel Elliott is not really a good Ezekiel Elliott, which is fine. So you're giving the game to Tony Pollard. Can Tony Pollard produce the results that you want to see with the run offense? And we may see someone like Malik Davis or Rico Dowdle in the backup position for the running back. But can Tony Pollard generate that enough to give us that winning formula again? Well, here's the thing, Cowboys Nation, is the Dallas Cowboys got to figure out different ways of winning. Right now, 5-2 feels great, but we know how they win. We know that they run the ball, they control the clock, and they play really good defense. Great teams can beat you multiple ways, and that's what has teams scratching their heads all week leading up to the game, is how do we beat this team, because they can beat us so many ways. I'm looking for this kind of Sunday where the Cowboys can beat the Chicago Bears a different way. It's a long season, and you got to figure out different ways of beating teams. But I think this is a Dak Prescott game. I personally don't think that the Cowboys are going to get the results that they want nor expect when it comes to Tony Pollard and the running offense. Regardless if Zeke plays or not, I just don't think it's going to happen. And so the Bears are the 22nd in the NFL in rush defense. So there's a little bit of an advantage right there. But I think they're going to hold up our run offense. I think we're going to have a hard time doing that. But like I said, this is a Dak Prescott game for me. And like I said earlier in the video, that it's going to come down to these quarterbacks. For the Bears, it's going to come down to their quarterback making the play who's in his second year. Essentially, maybe his rookie year, because it's all brand new offense now. But this game's really going to come down to Dak Prescott. In the stat line he produced last week, I believe it was 19-24, 207 yards and a touchdown. That's not going to be enough to win a game like this if it comes down to him. He needs to step in and prove and show everybody, hey, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm America's quarterback. This is why they paid me the big bucks. It's games like this where it's this and that, and it could go either way. You give me the ball, I'm going to score. That's the kind of game that I expect here from Dak Prescott. And I expect him to be the reason why the Cowboys win. And for us going into the bye week being 6-2. My prediction for Dak Prescott here and the offense is I think Dak goes 22 for 30. And I think he throws over 250 yards. And I think he gets that second touchdown. But this game is going to come down to him. And either he's going to rise to this situation, or we're going to have a hard conversation after, and it's going to sting for 2 more weeks. But as Mike McCarthy said during training camp, and I put it in my intros and my videos, because I think it's so important, and I think it's the season in a nutshell, is Mike McCarthy said this. He said, defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback. And I think that's this game right here, is the defense is really going to give him opportunities. The defense is really going to give a lot of opportunities for this offense to succeed and put them in a position where they can win this game. And they have been doing that all year. But it's the quarterback that wins you the big games, that closes it. And I think that's what this game is. And I'm really excited to see everyone. It's a really interesting matchup, guys. It really is, because we get to see the defense we need to see them improve if they want to win. And if they win, we know that they improved in the run defense. So that's number one, why I'm pretty excited to see where this defense is at, and can we improve on weaknesses, because that makes us a really even more dangerous defense. And then Dak Prescott, his third game of the season, second game back, is he better than Cooper Rush? Because we know what to expect from Cooper Rush. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to make a couple big plays every now and then. He did that when he went 4-1. But this is keying in on Dak Prescott. What makes you so special? Remind us again. Why are you the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys? And he's going to have that moment come this Sunday. And I'm excited to see it. So those are the two things that I'm looking for there. And my prediction for this game is it's going to be tough. It really is. I think it's going to be tougher than a lot of people expected, because I feel like the Bears are better than what their record says. And I think they're going to give the Cowboys a hard time come Sunday. But I think the Cowboys are better. And I think Dak Prescott does rise above the moment. And I think our defense does improve in a weakness that is glaring all season. And I think the Dallas Cowboys win a close one, 27-24. And they move to 6-2 into the bye week. And then they take on the Green Bay Packers. That's my prediction, and I really feel that. And also, too, you look at the Chicago Bears and their schedule. They're 3-4. You look at their 3 wins. They beat the 49ers. That's a good win, but it was also week 1. And then they played the Texans. And then they beat the Patriots, which, regardless what you think, I mean, that's a good win if you beat the Patriots, regardless whoever's on their team. But you look at their first 4 losses. You look at the 4 losses. They lost to the Packers. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the Vikings. They lost to the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders. I just don't see I don't see the Cowboys becoming part of that list where they would have beaten the 49ers, the Texans, the Patriots, and the Cowboys. It just wouldn't make sense to me. And it would make me scratch my head about this team going into the bye week. And so I just don't think it's going to happen. But here's a couple of things. This is a win-win, I believe. Regardless, I'm sleeping well Sunday night, regardless of what happens. And I'll tell you why, Cowboys Nation. One, if the Cowboys win, they obviously win. They're 6-2. They go into the bye week. They're in an incredible position going into the bye week. But it's interesting for this reason, because we're at the trade deadline. There's rumors about what the Cowboys shouldn't do. We know the Eagles are going out and getting guys. They got Robert Quinn. I think the Cowboys got one more trade in them. And I think it's going to be for a wide receiver. I really do believe that. And I think if we win, it's going to lower those chances, because Steven and Jerry are going to sit up in their booth and be like, I think we believe in our guys, and they're 6-2, and that's pretty good. We'll leave it at that. But Cowboys Nation, if the Cowboys lose, don't be too sad about it, because I think it would increase the chances and push Jerry and Steven to make a trade. A trade for a wide receiver, maybe Brandon Cooks, maybe DJ Moore, because we've seen other teams trade and they've increased the talent on their team. So if the Cowboys lose, it might just force the Joneses to pull that trigger. So take solace in that. I think it's a win-win this Sunday. I'm great if we win. But also if we lose, I think that increases the chances of a trade coming before Tuesday. But what's your favorite Cowboys-Bears moment? Let's take a trip down memory lane here. My favorite moment is September 25th, 2016. Week 3, it's Sunday Night Football. And this is the rookie season for Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. It's their first primetime performance. And the Cowboys are coming into this game 1-1. The Chicago Bears are 0-2. And those boys went off. They showed Dallas and the nation just how good of a team they could be. Dak Prescott went 19-24, 248 yards, and a touchdown. But the bigger performance was by Ezekiel Elliott, who went 30 carries, 140 yards. Cowboys ended up winning this game 31-17. And this is also the year the Cowboys would finish number 1 in the NFC with a 13-3 record. Dak Prescott would also go on to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. It was a great game. And that was actually the last time the Bears played the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. So hopefully we get the same vibes and we get the same result. But be sure to comment down below your score prediction for Sunday's game and what you think about this game. Is this a trap game? I think it may just be. Also, what's your favorite Cowboys-Bears moment? Is it like me? Because I think that's probably the most recent one. But other than that, again, I appreciate everyone for subscribing. I see us growing on YouTube, and obviously we hit 10K. I think we're at 12K now on TikTok, and I just really appreciate you guys following me on Instagram and Twitter. I really do appreciate it. Cowboys Nation, you've been good to me. So let's go ahead and get that W on Sunday, and I will see you guys after the game for my post-game reaction video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Go Cowboys!
Down the field, Lamb, 10-5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.